20, 25 over. Kevin was close to 20 over. Jerry was 20, 25 over as well. But, well, yeah, Kev was just bombing down here coming to Louisville from Wisconsin. So with that, drag your feet, Paul. I'll send it back your way. It's good to hear you. And yeah, you and I used to jump in when Warren Ellie, W1GUD, used to run the Florida AM net. And you and I think we met long about there, and then a few other nets and a few other groups and whatnot, Paul. And it sure is good to hear you in here tonight. And I see you're keeping up the good work and okay on working a little bit, mostly from home and making the run over to D.C. just when you have to, I guess. So drag your feet, Paul. See if the gas man wants back in or maybe somebody else. WA3VJB, this is KK4GZQ, BC610 with a 614D and a D104. Paul, back to you.
WA2PJP, what do you guys say?
Oh, hey, Joe. Let's see if Jerry's in there. K9GAS, leave a little room for him in there if he's come back with us. No, I guess not. All right. Well, hey, Joe. WA2PJP. And KK4GZQ for now, WA3VJB. Well, the Beastie 610 sounds good, Kevin, I got to say. The K4GHT Memorial Beast. It's nice that it's gone on to a good home there where we get to hear it again. And I forgot about how we initially crossed paths on the Florida AM net there with Warren. W1GUD. It was quite a loss when he passed away, and somebody turned me toward a YouTube video of his retirement from the Tampa Bay station where he worked for many years. And then, of course, it was kind of nice to hear his widow come back on with those call letters again and rejoin us on the frequency sometimes. I haven't been able to check in there for a while. Just not able to get up that early on a Sunday morning. So send my regards along next time you check in. And hopefully I'll try to keep in touch here as the winter radio season gets going. Yeah, hey, Joe. I was in here earlier today. Actually, I was in here on and off almost all day because it was raining on and off. So came out here, did a little tidying up. Very little, actually, because then I'd get on the radio and not get much done. You're sounding good in here tonight. Wonder which rig you're on. And I'll give you a better report next time round. Glad you checked in. This is an odd time of evening for you to be on the radio, isn't it? WA2PJP on the group, WA3VJB.
Yeah, hey, Paul, WA3VJB, and the group WA2PJP return. And hello to Kevin down there. Hopefully Kevin's hearing me. And yeah, this is a little bit, normally if I get on, it's a lot later than this, but, or very, very early, because my two little ones take up a lot of time, of course. And usually about this time, I'm just getting them into bed, and me and my wife are just starting to relax from the day. But this weekend, my wife and the two little ones and her mother, their grandmother, of course, my mother-in-law, they went up to my father-in-law's cabin to spend the weekend together, you know, girls, kind of like a girls' night, a girls' weekend thing. So I kind of had the weekend free, so that's why that's why I'm able to get on the air. And I was able to check into the AM calendar this morning, again, because I didn't have to worry about breakfast and all that for the little ones. So that's why I'm on. And Paul, you're doing a great job up here, very strong signal. I'm running the Johnson 500, listening on the National NC 400 today. And I'm hearing Kevin. Of course, Kevin's not as strong as you, but I am copying Kevin with no problem. So that's about it. Let me get it. I guess it goes back to Kevin. So Kevin, hopefully you're hearing me. And Paul, I want to tell you, you are the first entry in my new logbook number 24, the ARRL logbook, which I've been keeping since I was a novice back, since August of 1970. You're the first entry in the next logbook. And I can't believe I've been on the air 50 years. Can't believe it. Kevin, over to you. KK4GZQ. I think that's right. This is WA2PJP.
Okay, Joe, just dragging my feet there. I saw a carrier or two, maybe some others maybe wanting in. And I'm going to sign on the next one here, Joe, you and Paul. WA2VJP with WA3VJP. KK4GZQ Joe. Kilo 4 Golf Zulu, Quebec. Kevin located about 16 miles southwest of Lexington, Kentucky. Little farming community called Nunsuch. Believe that one or not, Joe. Joe, you're strong down here tonight. You're 15 over. Not just pretty close to Paul's signal. You guys are running neck and neck down here. And the Johnson 500 sounds great here on the air on AM. And I didn't hear whether you said it was Paul or myself. Nonetheless, the first entry of the logbook number 24 from that you started these back in August 13th of 1930. Well, I tell you what, if we're the first entry, either one of us, we've got to be lucky. So maybe the luck is maybe about to turn our way, Paul. So, okay, on the NC 400, Joe, I'm running using an HQ 180 down here for a receiver tonight with the BC 610. So, Joe, let me send it back over Paul's way. On the next one, I'm going to sign on you guys, and great to hear you both here on the frequency tonight. WA3VJB, WA2VJP, KK4GZQ. Back to you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Way down in there. Can't quite pull them out of the static crashes. Maybe one of you guys heard them. KK4GZQ. And the group WA3VJB right back. Well, very good. Yeah, both you guys are piling in here. Your signal has come up a little, Kevin. It was already, 10, 15 over, like I said, maybe 20 over the top of the roller coaster, but now it's hovering close to the top most of the time, and Joe's even stronger still, probably 25 over 9. He's got you by a little bit. I can just tell by the signal-to-noise ratio. Joe, I'm using a somewhat unusual receiver. I think we've talked since I've had this receiver online. It's a ITT McKay 3040 Alpha, 3040 Alpha. It came off a commercial ship. I think I've talked with you though. I gave you this little story with the thumb wheel switches for frequency selection, and it came off a ship that was being broken up down in Newport News. And I guess the folklore of it is that it must have gone over the fence or out the back door down the dock and out of there. And it came to me via an intermediary. I know nothing. It's a 30-year-old receiver, but apparently it was a fairly premium receiver in its day. And I just turned it on and it worked. So I put it online back at the AM rally. It was at the end of February or March, and I've had it in the system ever since. So that's what's new here. Actually, the K7 is new, too. You're hearing one of the super seniors. I've nicknamed it the K7, just as we used to nickname the T368 the T3. And I was delighted earlier this evening on the AWA net that Pete, WA1SOV, has one of them as well. It seems to go against my grain to have this thing in here, but it does make for a nice, small, solid-state footprint that I'm going to put in an anvil case. Perhaps make it a traveling AM station for the Hamfest circuit when they come back around again, the AM Festival station. And as you can hear, it's sorted out pretty well. No problems at all. So that's what's new here, Joe. I'm going to head for the door real soon. Very good on the bachelor pad there this weekend. It's, I think it's kind of neat that they're getting some quality time there at the cabin. I wonder where that is. Hopefully the weather was better than here at Annapolis, where it was drizzly raining all day and feeling like fall in the 60s. I guess it got close to 70 by the end of the day, but it was just kind of yucky. I'm trying to get a couple of extra boat days in before we winterize the boat for the season. And today wasn't going to be the day. It was just too gnarly out there. even though the wind was calm and the waves were probably flat, you know, like a piece of glass out there at the lighthouse. Anyway, here it comes. I think I'm going to be with Kevin. I'll sign after the next one and call it an evening here. WA2PJP and the group WA3VJB.
Good evening, Paul. K7YOO.
Yeah, WA3VJB and group WA2PJP. Yeah, I heard somebody before, but he was so
Hey, Skip.
far down I couldn't pull him out. He was just way down there, Paul. And Kevin, 73's to you. Good making your acquaintance tonight. And again, you know, you had a good signal up here. Not as loud as Paul, but definitely heard you. And very good on the receiver. Very good on the receiver. You know, I worked for ITT WorldCom in their Marine Coastal Division. I was at a shore station for a couple of years when I first started my career in electronics communications. And also, when I was on ship, when I was in the Merchant Marines, I was on the Sealand Independence, and they had an entire McKay setup. But the receiver, as I remember, it was a variable tune receiver. And I can't remember exactly what the model was of it. But oh God, I can see it. I can see it in my head. I'm looking at it as I'm sitting at the bench with my key when I was on that ship, but I can't for the life of me remember what that receiver was. But at the time, the McKay setup that I was operating when I was on that ship was fairly up to date. And I'm gonna have to see if I can find a picture of that on the internet somewhere. I'm only sorry I didn't take any pictures of it when I was cruising around on that ship. But anyway, Paul, and very good on the solid state rig. There is well, for AM here at the PJP location, we have no solid state AM equipment. It's all vacuum tube technology. The solid state stuff that I do have is the Kenwood stuff for sideband. I have a 940 and a 922, which I bought brand new. The last run of the 940s, brand new. Back in, I think it was 89 when I bought it, as I recall. But I was fortunate enough to get the last run of the 940 and the 922 back then. And I still have it, you know, sitting here on the bench. But that's the, I guess, the newest solid state stuff I have in the shack. Or maybe the ICOM 781. I have a beautiful 781 as well. I think they're about the same vintage, though. But anyway, Paul, yeah, good hearing you. I did hear you on the net this afternoon, but I was in the middle of something. I was taking care of yard work. I have a lot of work this week to do at the tower site. I got a big T-Mobile upgrade, so I'm going to be involved with that all week. So I had to get the yard work done, get some other work in the house done, do all my bills and stuff for the week, of course, because I'm going to be fairly busy with, like I said, the upgrade I need to do with T-Mobile. So with that, Paul, back to you. I know Kevin is gone, and I'm not going to stay too much longer either because I got to get up pretty early. WA3VJB Annapolis, WA2PJP Long Island.
K7YOO.
I think it is. I heard Skip in there right underneath. I stepped on you there, Skip, but I'm listening on one of the internet notes here as well. K7YOO. Give you a chance to say hello to Joe there before he signs out. WA3VJB. How you been, Skip?
Oh, very good, Paul. It's been a long time, WA3VJB, K7YOO. Yeah, I just came down here and thought I'd turn the receiver on. And anyway, we're listening to you on the 390A, and the transmitters, they're 813s, modulated by 805s, nothing real fancy, but anyway, it's wonderful to hear you, and from Annapolis, my gosh, it's been a while. I think I haven't heard Kevin in there earlier, but it's good to hear some East Coast stations and some good propagation for once. Anyway, I don't want to hold it long. I just I know you guys are trying to get out of there, but thought I'd let you know we're still kicking and keeping busy. And I started my own business, so I retired from the company that I used to travel for. So my wife and I've got our own business here at the Bat Cave in Winona, Minnesota. So very good. And let's see who else was in here. Anyway, you'll have to enlighten me. WA3VJB K7YOO.
Very good, Skip. Well, congratulations on the retirement and going over to your own company there. Kevin, was that you pulling the switch?
Yeah, I'm going to get out. I need a shower. And good evening to YOO as well. Good signal down in Lexington tonight. Hopefully I'm making the 390 okay. Yeah, Paul, thanks for letting me back in. I just wanted to say a proper goodbye in 73 to you guys. And it's good to hear you on the air, all of you here on the AM window. And I look forward to some good band conditions. And like I said, about 5 more weeks, things will start tapering off. And I should be a little bit more active here on the air. So back over to you, Paul. And 73 to K7YOO. Good signal down here tonight, Skip. And back to you, Paul. WA3VJB 73 Joe, KK4GZQ.
All right, Kevin. Well, good night to you. If I can get up in time tomorrow morning, we can pick it up from there. Go get your shower and get a good night's sleep. And very good on the self-employment workload there. As the fall season kicks in, it's going to lighten up for you a little bit, maybe give you a little more radio time. That's good. And Joe, to your comment, well, it's nice to be up near the spiral ring. I remember those ARRL log books. I think the spiral ring was at the top of the pages as you read it left to right. The spring would be up at the top. It's nice to be up near the holes. Yeah, it's funny. You know, I used to have those log books. They were just the ticket, but they had a lot of columns on there that were no longer relevant to AM activity. So I went over to the card system as soon as we moved out here, which was, I guess 87 or 88 or so. Went to the card file where I could put a lot more, what do they call it, granularity about the contact. You know, little notes and things about, what people do, what they're like, funny little quotes that they might give me. It's like Carrie, KC2UFU. She once gave me a signal of 7 by 9 because she was still getting accustomed to the signal report system. And not only is it on her index card that I have as a permanent record, but I've got a little sticky note here on the RCA board that my signal was 7 by 9. And it's that kind of precious stuff that, it carries down through the decades. And I'm just much more pleased with the way of records keeping that way than the logbook. But thank you for making me number 1 in the logbook number 24. Let's see, that's not bad for 50 years. I guess that's, logbook lasts you about 2 years. I don't know if that's linear or not, whether your activity has intensified and declined over that period of time, but it works out to about every 2 years. So that's interesting. I've got cards back to probably 89, 88 or so. That was my transition years when we moved out here. And of course, a lot of the guys in the card files are gone because they were old buzzards then. And you put 30 years on it, and they'd be like 110. I remember the last sunspot cycle. It was kind of sad to hear people say that this might be their last one. And it's like, oh man, that's kind of dark, But I guess they're doing the math. If they're already in their 80s or whatever, then it very well could be their last sunspot cycle. Up on 10 meters? Yeah. So the next time we get us a solar sunspot cycle and we have some missing call letters, I guess we'll just have to take it the way it goes, Skip, the home brew transmitter's doing fine here at Annapolis. You're probably 10 over 9, maybe S9 to 10 over. Not as strong as these guys, the other guys. I guess Kevin is probably as far as you from here. Or maybe as far from where Joe is. But the band's behavior isn't quite the same in all directions, even if the distance is about the same. Yeah, it's good to hear you on. It has been a very long time, and I'm going to try and get on a little bit more often this particular radio season. So, Joe, maybe you guys can kick it around a little bit. I'm going to head for the door. Glad you checked in tonight. A real good signal off the Johnson 500, and got the audio set just so. Sounds like it's filled out well. Just like you're here in the room, old man. So here it comes, WA2PJP with KK4GZQ having signed and K7YOO on the side. Good night from Annapolis, WA3VJB.
N3JUH radio.
JUH in there. WA3VJB. WA2PJP. All right. Catch up with you for a little bit anyway. Rock crushing here into Long Island. And Skip, hello to you. Man, I haven't talked to you in a real long time. I hope you're doing well. But I don't know how long it's been since I talked to you. And Paul, my activity, depending on what was going on, would be like I would fill up a couple of pages in a week in the log, and there would be times when I'd maybe do a couple of lines. But since I've been married, and I've been married 7 years now, 7 years, I can't believe it, my activity has dropped off quite a bit because of the family obligations. But I try to get on as much as I can, and hopefully when things settle down a little bit, the little ones get a little bit older and a little bit more self-sufficient, I can get back a little bit more. So Paul 73, it was good to hear you. And Jim, I'll get it over to you. And you turn it out to Skip. K7YOO. Hopefully he can hear you. And Skip, hopefully you're hearing me. But Paul, again, 73s, it was a pleasure. And Jim, why don't you go ahead and take it? And then turn it out to Skip. This is WA2PJP.
Yeah, very good. WA2PJP. Hey, Joe, you're sounding good here. And Paul sounding good about 25-0. Both you guys are over 25-0 right now. I don't know about Skip. I wasn't here when I didn't hear him. I don't know if I was on the other side of the room, but yeah. Running a BC610C and receiving out a BC 342. So it's the old World War II stuff, I guess. But yeah, the 342 works pretty good. But yeah, it's the old BC610 Model C. So it's but yeah. So you both sounded good here. I probably just sound like communications. You both gentlemen sound a lot better than me. So I don't know if Paul checked out of there. His 300Gs running there. That sounds great. So I'll turn it over to K7YOO Skip. I don't know if you have a copy of the N3JUH radio here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Did you hear Jim in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania? He turned it out to you.
Yeah, this is K7YOO. Did you turn it to me, over?
Yeah, we just turned it out to you. I guess, are you hearing Jim, N3JUH down there in Pennsylvania? Are you hearing him?
Yeah, this is K7YOO. Yeah, a little bit of QSO. Other than that, things are okay. I'm going to get out of here. I've got hearing you on again, and of course Paul and Kevin. But I'm going to bail out. At least we know life on the frequency that I heard you talking about. I have an RCA CRM R6A, which to what McKay was selling, and I use that RCA quite a bit. It's a great receiver. I just happen to be using the R398 tonight. Anyway, then we heard a 4-station come in, and he's doing quite well. This is Skip up here in Minnesota, and we'll say
Yeah, K7YOO, this is WA2PJP. Yeah, some QSB is, a little bit of QSB is signals up and down, but I got some of that. I guess Jim wasn't hearing you. But I guess Kevin, yeah, Skip, I'll say 73s. We'll catch up with you later. Let me turn it back down to Jim. And Jim, not going to stay too long either. I got to get up early tomorrow morning to do stuff. But you got a banging signal up here into Long Island, Jim. N3JUH, WA2PJP.
Yeah, very good there, Joe. Yeah, you're about 30 over. You're sounding really great. Yeah, we're running the old BC610. Like I said, we're running the old BC342 receiver, the old Farnsworth. I guess they're all Farnsworth. I don't know. But yeah, how does the audio sound? Because I believe the original plate transformer on this, it went out on me, and I got a Wilcox 99 auto transformer, stuffed it in here, and I don't know what the plate current is, but I can look at the color of the tube, and I adjusted it for the output on the bird watt meter. So, and I was talking to the guy that was selling the transformer. I said, "Will this work at a BC6?" And oh, well, no, you know, you need, two different. Well, the BC610 has the same power supply for the modulator and the plate supply. So I guess working okay, but it probably sounds communication quality. But from 1943. So I'll flip it back over to you there, Joe. And yeah, you gotta go. Just redo it. I've been calling a long time ago. He checked out of here. So I'll flip it back over to you there, Joe. N3JUH. Back over to you.
Yeah, very good, Jim. N3JUH, WA2PJP. Yes, solid copy. Your signal is, like I said, booming in here. And, but Skip, he was, his signal was up and down with QSB. He kept going into the noise and coming back up, so, and he signed out anyway. But, no, the BC610, you're doing a real good job up here. The audio does sound, you know, a little restricted, a little bit more communications quality, but perfectly readable. You're modulating fine. I would say it's doing okay. I wouldn't worry too much about the more low end. I mean, you're perfectly readable. I'd leave it alone unless you want to go for unless you want to modify and go with a more low end and high fidelity. But to me, I lean more towards communications quality. A little bit. Well, not just communications quality, but you know, a few steps above it, but not totally hi-fi, because I want to be able to be heard. And you know, you lose a lot of energy in that low end, of everything. So, but yeah, now it's sounding okay, and you're putting in a good sound. Very good on the receiver. I never had one of those receivers, and I never had very many. I had a BC348 once, and I had an SCR 522, which I was going to get on 2 meters, and I never did. But I had a 348, and it worked okay, but I ended up letting that go. And well, I think I replaced it with a, I replaced it with an MC300, that's what I did. But I don't have any real military equipment here. Everything is, ham, amateur style gear. Anyway, Jim, let me turn it back to you. I'm not going to stay for too much longer. Like I said, I got to get up early, so I want to try and get to bed early and get some sleep. N3JUH, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, WA2PJP, Long Island.
Very good there, WA2PJP, Long Island, N3JUH. Yeah, well, my problem here is I got a low antenna. It's like 35 feet off the ground, so if I get fat on the lows, a lot of times people won't hear me, you know. Of course, you get good band conditioning, all of a sudden they're hearing you, but, you know, if I get kind of too much fat on the lows, if I had a nice antenna, I would like. But I do have a, the transformer here, the mod iron's like 20 pounds, but I do have a RCA broadcast mod iron, and it came with a 45 Henry mod reactor, and that thing weighs about 40 pounds, and the reactor weighs 60 pounds, but I'm just going to keep the old Wilcox transformer here for now, and I maybe just put the old, try and put that other one, that 40 pounder in there and see what happens, but yeah, this was working good to hear me, like I'm saying. It's a D104, and I don't know if we would get much rows on this because that'd be old BC614 speed champ, which I got from France online. He only wanted $60 for it, but the shipping was about 140, but it was all original, so I don't know where the hell that thing was, and I just recapped its stock, so I just want to keep it, original sounding, at least you can communicate the quality, it's, as long as you can hear me like I do with the low antenna, and, so, there you go, so I'll turn it back to you and let you go, but thanks for talking to me, Joe. I wish I would talk to Paul, but with his 300G, that thing sounds great. So back over to you there, Joe, N3JUH Radio.
N3JUH WA2PJP. Yeah, very good, Jim. You're doing fine. You're right up there. You got a good signal. And for the antenna only being 35 feet up, it's doing really good job. This antenna is about 70. It's a fan dipole, and I got it up at about 70 feet, which makes a little bit, makes a little difference. Gets the signal out a little bit better. But anyway, I'm going to say 73s, Jim. It was good to hear you. Good talking to you tonight, but I got to get out of here. And I got one or two things to do before I go to bed. So 73s, and I will catch up with you later. N3JUH, WA2PJP, clear with your station.
Okay, 7 Joe, and good to hear your family's keeping you busy there.